Okay, everybody, we are getting vulnerable and open and deep here. I am going to talk about how psychedelics have helped me tremendously heal my trauma with psilocybin and DMT. So let's get into it. Most people walk through life carrying wounds that they didn't even realize that they had. They can show up as insecurity, jealousy, fear of abandonment, patterns that keep repeating over and over and over again in relationships, in friendships, in business, or just in life in general. And the truth is, most of us never actually find the root of where these things come from, okay? I've spent years in therapy since I was 19 years old trying to understand one specific pattern in my life that kept showing up. And ironically, the thing that finally showed me the truth was something most people are afraid to even talk about or even consider doing. It is psychedelic therapy, or plant medicine as people like to call it. Specifically, psilocybin mushrooms and DMT. So today, I'm going to walk you through my personal experiences with these substances, what they are, how they work, and how they helped me uncover trauma that I had been carrying since childhood without even realizing it. This video, by the way, not about promoting drugs. This is about healing, growth, accountability, education, and facing parts of yourself that most people run away from. I'm going to get very vulnerable and open, okay? So bear with me a little bit. This video is to help you because the story behind it, it's very personal and very real. What psilocybin and DMT actually are. Let's get into it. Before I get into my personal experiences, I want people to actually understand what these substances actually are. Psilocybin is the active compound found in psychedelic mushrooms. When consumed, your body converts the psilocybin into psilocin, which interacts with serotonin receptors in your brain. This can dramatically alter perception, emotional processing, and just overall awareness. In a therapeutic setting, psilocybin has shown to be extremely promising and have amazing results for things like depression, PTSD, anxiety, trauma processing, addiction, end-of-life anxiety, and deep emotional healing. And I mean deep. It is not an easy journey, but it's so profound. It allows people to access parts of their subconscious mind that are normally very, very difficult to reach. It brings up a lot of buried emotions, memories, unresolved trauma to the surface in a way that allows people to actually process them. Now, DMT is a completely different experience, and then I'm going to butcher saying this, but I believe it's pronounced dimethyltryptamine, something like that. It's a big, long word. Look it up. DMT is one of the most powerful psychedelic compounds that has ever been known to exist. It's very close to ayahuasca. Interestingly enough, though, it is also naturally processed in small amounts in your brain and in your body already. DMT is the main active component in ayahuasca. But when you drink ayahuasca, the experience is way longer. It lasts 6 to 10 hours, depending on how much that you take. But when you do DMT, it's inhaled through smoke. That experience is completely different, extremely intense, but very short, usually 5 to 10 minutes or so. But those 5 to 10 minutes can feel like an entire lifetime. Time just doesn't exist. It's so powerful, so profound, and not something to be taken lightly at all. And it has to call you too. It's not something to just, oh, let's go and have a trip. No, you have to do it with an intention. Something has to be calling you towards healing and growth for you to even consider doing stuff like this. One thing that I do want people to understand before I share my experience with this is every single human being on this freaking planet carries some form of trauma. Some people, they experienced major abuse, physical, psychological, mental, everything. Some people experienced extreme neglect. Some people had emotional abandonment, and some people simply grew up in environments where their emotional needs were never fully met, ever. Those experiences, they shape the way that we think, the way we feel, and the way that we behave as adults. But the problem is, most people never actually confront and face those wounds. They avoid them, or they suppress them, or they distract themselves from them. And then they wonder why the same patterns keep showing up in their life. For me, one of those patterns was jealousy and fear of abandonment. But where does this come from? This is the pattern that I honestly could never explain. As long as I could remember, I had this deep insecurity that somebody I loved was going to leave me, whether it was a boyfriend or my husband, anybody, even if there was no evidence, even if nothing happened to me or them or the situation. That feeling lived inside of me. And it was like this constant voice saying to me, you're not good enough. They're going to find somebody better. They're going to leave you. They always do. And then I started dating my husband. Guess what? That feeling showed up again, which made absolutely no sense, by the way. He reassured me constantly. He loved me deeply, treated me amazing. Well, he still does. He praises me. He supports me. He challenges me to grow. He's always improving himself for me. And he treated me like a damn queen. Yet somehow this insecurity still existed inside of me. And it just had this chokehold on me. And I could never understand why. No therapist could have ever told me that. I've been in therapy since I was 19 years old for the same exact reason. Nobody could get to the root of where this was coming from. So let's go back to 2023. Okay, this was my first psychedelic experience ever. And this is when I did DMT. Eventually, my husband suggested something that it scared me at first, which was this. He suggested that I explore DMT, an experience to see if it could help uncover where this insecurity was coming from, and I agreed. But I went into it with a very specific intention. I literally asked one question, and I remember it to this day. I asked, please show me where this jealousy and insecurity comes from. I need to know. It is affecting my marriage. It's affecting my life, my choices, my thoughts, my decisions, everything. It is crippling. Please show me where this comes from. Within seconds, okay, of the experience starting, I felt like I was literally launched into another dimension or a portal. And I saw something that it really shocked me. Okay, so here's where we get vulnerable. I saw myself as a little girl. I was about 6 or 7 years old. I was sitting in a very dark, cold, empty, quiet, black room, okay? I had my knees pulled up to my chest. I was crying, shaking, scared. And in front of me, I see my dad walking away in the distance. He's not yelling, screaming, nothing. He's just walking away and he's not turning around. And I'm calling for him and I'm begging for him to stay, but he just keeps walking. And eventually he just fades off into the distance. And I'm literally trembling as a little girl, like, please don't leave me. But he kept walking. He never turned around. Intense, right? What therapist can make you see this? None. When I came back from that experience, okay, I was extremely emotional. I was crying. Confused, not confused in the why did I just see that? Confused in the how come I was never able to figure this out on my own? That type of confused. But this was the first time in my life that I finally had an answer. That moment literally revealed everything, where my fear of abandonment came from and my jealousy came from. Now, I do want to be very clear about something. Dad, if you're watching this, I love you, okay? My dad did the best he could with the tools that he had. He was in law enforcement for 15 years, saw some of the darkest things that a human being can see. He also had an extremely difficult life in childhood himself. He had an extremely abusive father. He was an alcoholic, physically abusive, mentally abusive, verbally abusive, you name it. And a mother who was an avoidant. Loved them to death, the nicest person on this planet. Let's be real. She's the glue to this family, my dad's mother, but avoided all of that stuff, didn't step in, didn't try to help. So he also had a lifetime of trying to earn validation from his father that he never received. So when I began to understand that, I stopped seeing him through the eyes of a wounded child. I began to see him as a human being carrying his own pain. And honestly, like it changed everything. Fast forward, 2024, second journey. Even though I had all the answers, right? Those feelings of insecurity and jealousy, they still showed up occasionally because guess what? It's a wound. The wound doesn't go away. You just get better at understanding it, knowing where it comes from, what opens it, what closes it, and what helps make it feel better. All normal. All of that is normal. Healing isn't a switch that you just magically flip on and off. So I decided to explore psilocybin, a large dose, 8 grams to be exact. And this journey lasted about 6 or 7 hours. But this time, something completely different happened to me. Instead of seeing myself, I literally felt, saw, and witnessed my father's pain. Everything he had gone through, all the weight he was carrying every single day, the anger, the sadness, the hurt, the loneliness, the pressure. I can't explain it. The defeat, everything. I felt all of that. It felt my body and my bones like aching and hurting. I saw him as a young boy going through things that no child should go through. And literally in that moment, something shifted inside of me. I felt so much compassion instead of resentment. I forgave him completely. Not because somebody told me to, but because I finally understood my father. That day, I remember it so vividly. I chose to love him for who he is fully, accept him for who he is fully, choose to have a healthy relationship with him again, choose to not hold any resentment or anger or frustration or confusion because I understood. I can't explain to you the feeling of that, like anguish and ache and pain and hurt and sadness. Like I wouldn't want anybody to feel that ever. But check this out. Fast forward to 2025, just last year, I had another psilocybin experience because guess what? The wound, right? It comes back. It doesn't just magically get fixed and get better. Again, you get better at dealing with it and managing it. And again, I did 8 grams. This experience was completely different. I think this one was the one where I finally was like, okay, I got my aha moment. I found myself standing in a blank space, okay? No walls, no colors, nothing, just no ground. Like it was just this open blank space. And I saw this woman walking all the way very far, but I saw her walking and she was walking towards me in the distance. She was extremely powerful. She was beautiful. She was fierce. She was intimidating. She was confident. She looked, and this is what I call her, she looked like a Viking warrior goddess queen, okay? She had armor. She was strong. She had this presence. I was like, what is happening? What is about to happen right now? Because she didn't look friendly. She looked very like, I am on my way to tell you something very important. So buckle up. And I was standing there like, oh my gosh, like, okay, here we go. And as she got closer, this is where it gets kind of cool. I realized something a little shocking. She was me, okay? She was my higher self. She looked directly at me and said, why are you still feeling like this? What are you lacking? Why are you confused? We don't do this anymore. You are me, and I am you. And literally in that moment, I realized something. The work had already been done. The healing had already happened. The only thing left for me was to actually just believe it and start living like that. So today, in 2026, I feel so much peace. I feel more secure. I feel more confident than I ever have been in my life, not because psychedelics magically fixed everything, but because I chose to face my wounds. I chose to sit with my pain and understand it. I chose to confront the parts of myself that most people run from because it's scary and it's unfamiliar. I get it. I really get it. You have to be brave to do something like this. But that's the real message that I want people to understand. Like the ability and capability of these substances is so powerful, regardless of your religion, what you believe in. If you've never done these drugs before, no, do your research. There's a reason why this stuff isn't legal, because it heals you. You get the answers, so you won't need to go to your therapist. You won't need to go to your psychologist. You won't need your Zoloft or Wellbutrin or your Xanax. You won't need any of that stuff because all of that stuff just numbs it. It forces you to ignore it. So of course you're not going to sit with it. But the second you stop taking those real drugs, the pharmaceutical drugs, that's when all of it comes back, rushing back, because all you did was suppress it. All you did was numb it. You didn't face it and sit with it and heal from it. So that ends up doing way more damage than something that grows in the ground. So what's the real lesson here that I'm trying to teach you today? Your life is your responsibility. Nobody can fix your life for you. Nobody. Not me, not a therapist, not your pastor, not even psychedelics. That can't fix you, okay? Not a partner, all of that stuff. None of that fixes you. No friends, no family. Those things can guide you, sure, but honestly, the work is yours to do. You control your story. You control your